All right, and welcome to Across the Bar podcast. Well, we're going to do another session of Tell Me How You Really Feel. And this time, the things come up, it's taking over my timeline is Elon Musk and Twitter. Elon Musk and Twitter, you told me. Jeez, I'm kind of like over this story because, I mean, in the end, does it really... I don't know. I don't know how much it really affects you when you realize that Twitter is not the real world. But once again, Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you.
So here's the thing, and I was so happy that you were willing to do it because I wanted the opinion of somebody that doesn't really fuck with social media like that. Because like if you were to see like my Twitter, it's like people are freaking the fuck out because Elon Musk offered to buy Twitter. Now, since you don't follow social media in that way, I just kind of want to give you a rundown on why certain people are freaking out about it and why certain people think this is the best thing to fucking happen to Twitter.
Okay.
Right? So the past couple of years, especially kind of like with Trump and things like that, especially Trump. He's the one that kind of really fueled this fire. A lot of people were saying like, how is it that he's allowed to say this on there? And like during the election, right? They actually booted Trump. I mean, after his presidency ended, they booted his ass off Twitter, right? And the whole thing was because, do you know about the January 6th thing about a whole bunch of people going to the Capitol and shit after the election? Mm-mm. Okay, see, this is why I love you. Like, yes, you don't fucking pay attention.
I'm like House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking do not.
Okay, so after the election, there was this thing, he kept going saying like the election was stolen, that, he really became president. And, there was this whole, like, Twitter just started, I guess, fact checking people, and people are getting their accounts taken down. People, throughout time have been banned for saying certain things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it has to do with social issues, whether it's like, racism, like the election, trans stuff, COVID, like, all these like
I
super,
feel like it's probably a lot of cancel culture, just like this is not appropriate anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like where it's been, right? And so you have one side that feels like, hey, like this is actually good because it's like nobody needs to hear like a lot of like hate speech or be spreading misinformation. There's a lot of that going on, and then one side feels that like, hey, actually Twitter is we get that, but Twitter is actually targeting like conservatives, right? And are they letting like liberals say whatever the fuck they want, or they're basically only canceling they're only canceling like kind of like conservative views. And so that's just kind of been the thing back and forth, right? And so from what I get, Elon is kind of more of a libertarian guy, more kind of like, hey, less regulation. You should be allowed to say, whatever you want, kind of. And his stance is the best retaliation to wrong speech is better speech, right? Mm-hmm. Meaning, like, let's say there's somebody there that says, like, I hate, Mexicans because they're all illegal and they're all rapists or whatever, right? There's people that believe that, hey, if that person wants to say that shit, that's fine. Because you can challenge with like, hey, basically have a conversation of like, hey, that's not true. These are the reasons why. And then hopefully you can change their mind, right? There's some people that believe that, hey, those people are way too far gone. Fuck them. They have no place in this discourse. Get them the fuck out, right? And so when people have said like, hey, no, that's, it should be, we have the in the Constitution, we have free speech. They should count on it. People on the side of regulations towards Twitter, they've said, hey, you know what? It's a private company. They can do what they want. If you don't like it, make your own Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Which is really hard because we've kind of let these tech companies just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where you'd really just have like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Like you only have a couple of companies, right?
Honestly,
TikTok.
I just feel like I would rather people say what really was on their mind and it be out there in the public, because at one point I have to think some people just shoot themselves in the foot, because it's like some people like to share so much that they share so much that they fuck themselves. And it's like a lot of the time, like, I don't know what it is about just humans in general, that they will share so much that it fucks themselves over. And it's like, I'd rather them just go ahead and show your true self and like not be fake. So I'm one of those that really, I'm just like, no, don't be fake, because like, no, just tell me how you truly feel. Basically, tell me how you truly feel.
So I feel that there's, I forgot. I mean, it's been said a lot, but it's like, it's better that they show you their true colors, because at least you know where they stand. So like if there's somebody, right, that was like, like I hate freaking like, wetbacks and blah, 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 blah. Right. It's like, oh, okay. Well, now I know where that person is coming from. Right. And now at that point, it's my choice on how to interact with that person. Right. Knowing that they have those beliefs. Right. And what was really interesting too is that growing up, like Howard Stern, right? Do you know who that is? He was like a DJ from New York, and he would just say the most outlandish. He had a radio show, a morning radio show, right? Back in the 90s, but it was kind of a free for all. I mean, there was.
Was he the one with the wild hair?
Yeah. With the wild hair.
With the really wild
right.
hair. Yeah.
And the thing is that, like, they kept trying to get after him, oh, like he said this word. Oh, he said this. He said that. I mean, he would have like porn stars on there fucking like masturbating, like on air. Like he always pushed like those lines. Right. And I remember growing up when for the most part at that time, it was mostly the religious people that were like, I can't believe like he's, led on to like say all this stuff. But the defense was always like, hey, if you don't like it, turn it off. You don't have to listen to it, right? And now we've come to this time where it's like, no, that's not good enough. It just shouldn't be on there.
I think like, I mean, me being not a social media person, I just think that like opening the portal to radio, to TV, to internet just opened up fucking... I don't even know. I can't even like...
It's not even a can of worms. It's like a can of snakes.
I'm just like, man, it's a can of pythons right now. It's just like that's... It's just so difficult now.
But see, the things that I find interesting is that like, I'll see that stuff on Twitter and I'll see cancel culture and like all this stuff. But then when I actually talk to people in real life, nobody really cares about that shit. I still hear people saying whatever the fuck they want. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So I don't know. Like, it's very confusing to me too, because I'm just like, cancel culture is like roaming, but I still see like inappropriate, stupid shit going on, and it's like, No one's canceling that.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because, like, you know, whenever I ask, you know, talking to people about a podcast and stuff, that's now their first concern
Is being canceled.
Is, hey, I don't know if I can do this because I don't know. You know,
my job is at stake.
Yeah. And it's like, no. Like, we're not going to talk about anything crazy or anything. Like, yeah, I
you know what it is? It's I don't want to be my true self because my true self would get fired. That's what the fuck it is. Because if you were so hoity-toity, perfect, like, person, then you would be able to speak freely without any concern of pissing off your job. But the fact that we are all real people, you can't, your real self is inappropriate. All of your fucking real selves are not appropriate. Like, when you think about it, and everybody wants to be behind closed doors. Everybody wants to be in the inappropriate closet, per se. Nobody wants to come out of the inappropriate closet. They're like, no, I need to be myself, but I can't let anybody know my true self. So it's like, everybody's like, you should be your true self, but really, like, should you?
Yeah, I think one thing that we're, as humans, we're not letting, or not that we're not ready to see, or we're not just accepting. Maybe it's like that we're not ready to accept that about us, is the fact that, like, we're kind of like, you know, if you put ourselves in a moral scale, most of us, if not all of us, we're in a pretty shitty place, you know? Like, if you actually,
I feel like we're all segregated. We all like to hang out with our own fucking clique as much as we don't want to be. No, like
what I'm saying is that, you know, you're trying to hold yourself to a standard, like, oh, like I don't hate, or I don't do this, or I don't do that, and I'm always like, you know, helping out all this. But when you realize, like, most people, I think, if not all people do a lot of shitty things. People say a lot of shitty things. Like, I always say that to myself. It's like, dude, don't give me all this shit, because it's like, somebody cuts you off, who knows what the fuck's gonna come out of your mouth. You know
I just feel like it's the death of comedy for me. Because it, like, I love making fun of myself, my people, other people. Like, I love to just say things that are just flying off my mind. And I have no hate in my heart for anybody.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to me. And now, like comedy has turned into, like, such a, oh my God, like, no, you know what I mean?
I hear that a lot, right? Especially I hear that from, like, established comedians, right?
But being a black woman, it's my time to shine. So, like, who the fuck is gonna argue with me? Like, I'm black and animal woman. Like,
but see,
I'm getting away with murder in these motherfucking streets.
That's a problem.
I'm getting away with murder on these streets thanks to Twitter.
Check this out. Okay, so check this out. So, like, let's say the N-word, right? Can't say it, can't write it, whatever, right? And right now, of course, like,
if you have to question if you should say it, just don't fucking say it.
Yeah.
Like, use your common sense.
Eventually, like, everything's done by algorithms, right? And, like, bots and all this shit, because they're, like, monitoring stuff, right? Mm-hmm. What happens when you can't, like, black people can't even say it without getting banned, or
when they start taking words from our own selves? Like, you're not anywhere near the hood, but you have something to say about it.
But what happened? What happens then? You know,
I think about that often. Like, what happens when everything is just canceled and everything is like rainbow sunshine and that's it?
Yeah. What happens when Ice Cube releases a record and he can't say the N-word? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? You know?
They're like, we need your 23andMe before we start this.
Well, no, because then I feel, because I think, like, a lot of people are very well-meaning and they're like, no, like, you know. Some asshole out there shouldn't be allowed to just be on Twitter and just say this. But then it's like, if you're saying, like, stop that, I feel just throws a little snowball, and eventually, like, not now, maybe not in 5 years, but eventually there's a potential that it could get to that because you just let that happen. You don't think?
What do you mean? Just let that happen?
The example that I was saying about like Ice Cube not even being able to say, you know, the N word in his raps because at that point that word becomes like
I don't really know because honestly, like this new generation, they're just gonna do whatever the fuck they're gonna do. And honestly, like I don't mean to sound self-centered, but I'm just trying to enjoy my time. Like,
well, hence why you're not on social media.
Bitch.
Hence why you're not on social media.
Yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy the earth before I'm out this bitch, and I'm like too old, and I'm just like, bye, it's my time. But like, I don't know where they're gonna take it. You know,
I think
they're taking it. Woo, they're taking it somewhere, but I don't know where it's going to be taken. Like, what is, you know, to be blessed and be able to be like 65, 80 years old. I don't know, like 70 maybe, but like to be able to see what's going to be going on. And me, I'm such a chill ass person. I'm just like, take it away, motherfuckers. Whatever. I just want fucking vacations. I'm just here to ride the ride, and I'm just like, I don't even take things like, I don't know. I don't take things as intensely or seriously as other people do, but like we are definitely on our way to definitely huge changes.
So you know what's interesting? I'm the same way where I'm just like, okay, like, you know, when it came here,
maybe I just have real life shit to deal with, or that too. I'm just trying to deal with real life shit. I'm not even trying to think about what the fuck is going on, aside from us destroying the earth. I'm like, yeah, that shit is a mess.
Well, that's true too, though. Once you have like a lot of real world shit to deal with, all that stuff becomes a little bit more irrelevant, right?
Exactly. I'm still thinking about medical. I'm just like, damn, yeah. Like dental and medical is high. I'm still in the beginning. Like everybody didn't jump head of the motherfucking class. These motherfuckers have jumped way above. I'm still worried about like basic human like things that should be rightfully ours. I'm still trying to work on like the medical, the dental, like like all kinds of things like that.
So
where the fuck did my taxes go?
One thing that I find interesting is that
all of our taxes.
One thing that I find interesting is that people are so concerned about whether Elon Musk is going to bring Trump back, you know, because since he got banned from Twitter, people were just like, oh, like, you know, he's going to, you know, bring like hate speech back.
That's their main worry right now.
Yeah.
It's like, if he's going to let Trump be on Twitter.
Yeah. But my main concern is that, like, hey, like, shouldn't this be a time so that we can, like, assess whether these internet companies, these tech companies are monopolies, and why have we let them grow this big to the point where it's going to be pretty hard for somebody else to make another Twitter, right? AWS, which is like, AWS is like servers so that you can host your website, right? Well, if Amazon owns pretty much all, you know, is hosting all the websites, even if you wanted to make your own Twitter, Amazon could just say, nah, we're not going to host it. And then what are you going to do? You know, you can't handle like that many users and stuff. And so I feel people are concerned with the wrong things. I'm concerned more about that a dude that owns a fucking a car company, a space company, and now it's just like, I want to own the social media company. That's kind of fucking weird to me.
I feel like, oh, okay, he's getting a lot of power there, ain't he? Well, it's like, from my perspective, I'm like, oh, he's conquering a lot of things over there, ain't he?
Yeah, it's kind of like
he's like, I want to go to Mars, bitch. I want to own Twitter. I got the cars that everybody needs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Everything's going electric. That's where it's huge. Okay. Oh, look who's going to benefit.
As long as he doesn't pull a Hitler, I'm okay. Like, please don't start. I don't want him to have his point of views bust out when he's already owning every motherfucking thing. He's like, I own the gas company, motherfuckers. I'm like, oh, shit.
Well, think about Jeff Bezos, the guy from Amazon.
What is his intentions? That's all I ask. Like, since he's been conquering making his rounds, I just want to know his intentions.
According to him, good ones. But like, you take the guy from Jeff Bezos from Amazon, right? He owns Amazon. He owns, like the shipping stuff. He owns AWS, which is like the hosting services. But then he also owns a newspaper, the Washington Post. Now, I have a problem with a company that big owning
A newspaper that they're gonna
newspaper.
print some good shit about themselves.
Yeah, because you can
I'm
see
the
it.
boss, motherfucker. Yes, I'm gonna print what the fuck I want to print this motherfucker.
Yeah, so
It's like, did you have a lawsuit because you killed 10 people? No, that's not what we're printing. Like, it doesn't. I'm printing what the fuck I want to print.
so in the end, I feel that
It's all like one.
it should be less about like I can't believe that he's gonna let Trump on, and more about. And we should start questioning about, hey, what the fuck?
What
are we
else
letting
is he
these
gonna buy?
No, not even him. What the fuck are we letting these companies do?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Well, thank you again. You know, I always love your input. Till next time.
yes,
This might just become a you and me podcast because it's just too fun.
I know. I enjoy it. It is seriously.
All right. Bye.
Bye.